Over the last 35 years of me playing tennis, I've tested out hundreds of different rackets. And it takes me only about 8 or 10 shots to feel if I'll enjoy playing with a racket or if I'll dislike it. Now, as soon as I played with the 98S, I knew straight away that this was a special racket. The feeling that I had was, it was almost like a hybrid between a blade and the aero. It gave me a lot of control, but it also gave me that extra bit of power that now, as I age, I so desperately need. But it also gives you that added spin. So when I'm going for that topspin forehand, I could feel that the racket is helping me generate more RPM on the ball compared to, for example, the Model 100, which I've been using for the last 8 or 9 months. Now, the pop that it gives you off the frame actually forced me to slow down my racket hit speed slightly, simply because I was hitting quite a few balls long. Because of that added power, it gives you a slightly higher trajectory off the racket. And because of that slightly upwards tilt off the racket, it is easy to spray the balls long when you haven't got used to it. Now, after a few minutes, that instantly goes away and you start feeling that control. You feel like you have a lot of RPM being generated from the racket itself. This racket would suit a player who likes to produce a lot of spin on the shots. Hitting it flatter is still possible with this racket, but if a player likes to hit it flatter, then the Model 98 Pro is probably a better suit for their game. So someone who likes to play from the baseline, an aggressive baseliner, someone who likes to play heavy topspin shots pushing the opponent back, or they use a lot of slice, for example, because on the slice, the extra underspin that is produced off the racket gives you a little bit more bite. Now on the serve, this is great for players who like to hit a lot of slice or kick serves. It ended up taking me a few days to actually feel the pronation and the feeling of actually hitting through the ball to flatten out that first serve with the Model S. But the slice serve and kick serve was instantly there with this racket. Now at the net, because of the extra spin being generated, it's very easy to control your volleys. It doesn't require big swings, it's just a simple flick of the racket at a point of contact and you generate a lot of underspin on your volleys, creating that bite effect when the ball bounces. Now overall, I think this is a racket for the players who are looking for a bit of extra help out of the frame. Maybe you like to feel that feeling of the control, you like to feel that feeling that this is a pro stock racket, but you need a bit of extra power off the racket. So advanced club players, you might even be an intermediate level player, but you're looking for that stability at contact with the added spin and with the extra power. So overall, I would give this racket an 8 out of 10. I feel like it's a really solid racket, a very well made racket. As soon as I started hitting with a 98 Pro, I knew I had found my new racket. I really didn't expect to love this racket as much as I have, to the point where now I'm switching to this racket, and as you'll see in the future content, I'm using this racket on a day-to-day basis. The feeling I got is once again that feeling that you're holding that pro stock racket, a racket that has been customized to you straight out of the box. The control you get with this racket is incredible. You don't get as much pop off the strings, you don't get as much power as with the Model S, but if you're someone who can generate a lot of racket speed yourself, you don't need that extra pop. If you're someone who's looking for that extra control in your shots, if you're someone who likes to have that instant feedback, as soon as you make contact, the racket is telling you, okay, that was slightly late, or that was a good contact. It's giving you that instant feedback right away versus kind of guessing with a lot of the rackets that I've used over the past few years. And if you're someone like me who is looking for that perfection in their strokes, I need the racket to be telling me if I'm doing something correctly or if I'm doing something poorly. And that instant feedback allows me to then self-correct. So I think this racket would suit an all-court player, someone who likes to play a little bit flatter from the baseline, someone who likes to take the ball on the rise, maybe take time away from the opponents and look for the short balls. Also a player who likes to serve and volley or come to the net. I feel like this racket would be golden for those type of players. On the baseline, as long as you have that good racket head speed, the power is instantly there. Because you feel like it's a very solid frame, you can really plow through the contact point. Now in terms of spin production, you can still produce a lot of spin with this racket, but it won't give you as much as with a 98S. When it comes to your backhand and your forehand slice, this is where the racket will really help you feel exactly what you're doing on those shots. And if you're trying to flatten out your forehand or backhand, this is where the racket really excels. Players who like to hit through that ball and extend towards their target, this racket allows you to do so in the most beneficial way. When you come to the net and you start hitting your volleys, you just feel like you're hitting a volley with your hand. This feels like an extension of your hand and you're simply redirecting. It's very easy to control the ball at the net. It's very easy to hit a lot of nice drop volleys at the net and drop shots from the baseline. Now on the serve, it gives you a really good flat serve. So when I was going for my first serve, I could really feel that pop off the racket. Where I would say the Model 98S defeats the 98 Pro is on the second serve. On the second serve, you have to really keep that racket head speed in order to produce that kick. Or if you're going for a slice serve, you have to really cut it to have that same spin effect that you get with the 98S with slightly less effort. Now after the playtest, I was in two minds. I really loved the 98S in terms of the ease of power that I was generating, the ease of spin, but I just love that feeling of control and stability that I get with the 98 Pro. So I'm sticking to the 98 Pro for the time being. Maybe in a couple of years, I'll be switching to the S for that easy power, but for now, I'm sticking with the Pro. Absolutely love this racket, and I can't recommend it enough for those serious players. This racket isn't a beginner's racket. This won't suit a player who's just starting tennis. This is for players who are already quite high level, they're quite advanced, and they like to feel that control and stability when they make contact.
My thoughts on the new Model 98 is I like it. I like it a lot. And this is coming from someone who's played with a 100 square inch racket for the last 20 years. Now here I have both versions of the racket, the S for spin and the Pro version. Now even from stringing both of the rackets, I could see some distinct differences in the string pattern. The S has a much more spread pattern at 16-19 and the Pro a more dense pattern at 18-19, especially in the middle. The Pro has 2 extra mains, and even though both of the rackets have 19 crosses, it's the Pro that has a much bigger spread at the bottom and starts lower, then gets more dense in the middle, whereas the S is more uniform throughout. And this favors a player looking for that added spin. The new mold offers the same unique Nordicdots head shape and slick lines, and I'm loving the new metallic silver color, which glistens in the sun almost like a high-end sports car. On the ground strokes, both of the frames feel solid. The Pro, which is the heavier of the two, coming in at 310 grams, is slightly less forgiving, but gives a very crisp contact when you get it right. Now what I love about the Pro version of this Model 98 is just how easy it is to take balls on, to put your body into it, and how much quality comes off the strings. Now it really feels like a high-end Pro stock frame, producing just the right amount of feel, power and control. I definitely feel added spin potential on the S frame. It's the lighter of the two at 305 grams, but it does so without sacrificing the power and feel of the racket. It also feels more balanced than the previous versions, which I felt was slightly more headlight. This frame flows beautifully through the shot, and it's an absolute pleasure to play with. Really feels like I can really go through the shot, and it will just give me enough lift to bring that ball up over the net and make it dip before the baseline. And I absolutely love just how much feel you get with this racket. You can hit a slice or the perfect drop shot every time. Now on the volley, both the frames perform rather well. The S being the lighter of the two, giving a little bit more bite at the net and being slightly more maneuverable when you're hitting. The Pro exceeds in its stability. You can handle really hard shots and still feel in control. It really makes you feel like a wall out there. Now on the serve, it's incredibly tough to pick a winner between the Pro and the S, as both of the rackets perform incredibly well. Now the S gives you a little bit more slice, gives you more kick on those kick serves, maybe for the second serve. The Pro though gives you more comfort for that power hit, which is what I love. Now this frame is a definite step up, and it's an absolutely fantastic addition to an already impressive Nordicdots lineup. I'm looking forward to using it more from now on.